Hi, W2IHY here again, and thought we'd run through some audio settings for the ftdx1200. I use a Heil PR40 microphone and a W2IHY 8-band EQ. One of these little babies here. Very nice piece of equipment to have alongside the radio. Now what we'll do, we'll go into the equalizer settings, and I'll show you where I have mine set. I quite like a wide sort of banded sound with a nice amount of bass and some tops as well, just to give it a little sparkle. And I've had absolutely superb reports with the way I've had it set up. So hopefully you'll be able to see it on the radio where I've got the settings, and I'll also go through it on the EQ if you decide to buy one of them, which I thoroughly recommend. They're not the cheapest piece of equipment, but they're certainly worthwhile. So let's go into the radio and have a look. Now it's we'll just try to come in a little bit up. Sorry if the quality's not as good. I've had to put the flash on. It should be okay. There we are. I think that's okay. Now, menu 159 on the parametric equalizer, EQ1 frequency, we have that on 100. 160 is EQ1 level, is set at 3. 161 is set at 1. 162 is set at 800. 163 is at 0. 164 is at 1. 165 is 2100. 2100. 166 is at 5. 167 is 1. Now this is onto the processor settings. Now I only have a very small amount of processor. Very small amount. I'll normally turn it up to about a number. Actually I can't remember. There we go, it's on about 12 to 13. Somewhere around that, maybe a little lower really, about 10. But 168 is at 100. 169 is at 4. 170 is 2. 171 is at 800. 172 is at 0. 173 is at 1. 174 is 3200. 175 is at 5. 176 is 1, and that's where I've got them. As you can see, most of them are actually pretty much default settings, apart from part of the processor there at the end at 3200. That one's at 4, and that's at 100. And the same with the actual mic EQ. It's just the first two to bring a bit of more bottom end into it. So that's with mic and EQ. Like I said, just a small amount of processor on there. Sometimes I don't even bother with the processor, but it does seem to sort of just give it a little bit more kick with the average torque power. Now over onto the W2IHY, I'll show you the settings here. Let's just bring this round here. Now it's not particularly easy to see with this view, but I've got the first one, which is the 50 Hertz, and that's on 12. The 100 Hertz is on about 7. The 200 is on 0. The 400 probably about -2. The same with the 800, about -2. The 1600 about 1 to 0. 2400 is around the 5, and the 3200 is about the 7. Now I do vary these sometimes depending on the bang condition. Sometimes I'll bring them down, give it a little bit more of a flat sounding, and or sometimes I'll crank these up just a couple, just a little bit, just to give it a bit more of a cut-in audio. I do use the noise gate, not because the shack's particularly noisy. I quite like the effect, not all the time, but that's how I've set it up anyway. And as you can see, this is about where I've set it. But again, I do play about with it somewhat. But roughly these settings, and you normally find that majority of people get these settings like this in some kind of V kind of configuration, which normally works out quite good for the human voice. So there we are. That's the how I've got the EQ settings and the W2IHY settings on the ftdx1200. Remembering as well that that's with the Heil PR40 microphone. So that's how we've set the radio up, and we've had some really good reports like that. Also, without using the 8-band EQ and just the PR40, it's been very, very good indeed. But these little boxes, they do give the audio a little bit of sparkle, and certainly people do notice the difference when one's on the air. Okay, I think that's about it for that video. So don't forget to subscribe, and thanks very much for watching. 2 Echo 0 Whiskey Bravo Kilo 73. Bye bye.